my voice. I'm here when you need my voice. I'm here when you need my voice. I'm here when you need my voice.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron and welcome to a brand new video here on BLURBOSH. And today we're in the Grandland X doing an economy test to see how well this car does or doesn't do. Now if you remember, 3 and a bit years ago I did the same exact test on my Insignia Grand Sport diesel. And we're going to do the exact same trip. We're going from here at Sainsbury's all the way down to Broughton Shopping Centre in Chester. We're going to find out how well it does from here to there, and then we're going to go from there down the back roads back to this exact same spot here in Sainsbury's in Wrexham. And we're going to see how overall the car does. Now I'll just briefly explain what this Grandland is running with, which you guys, if you haven't seen the other videos, may not already know. This is the 1.2 Ecotec engine, derived from Peugeot's PureTech, sorry. I might have just insulted the French there. It's a decent little motor so far, to be honest. It's got some work that needs doing to it, so it's going back in for some warranty work in the next couple of weeks. But before it goes in, I want to do an economy test with it to see and show you guys what this car is like on fuel in comparison from moving from a diesel back to a petrol again. The only thing I will say is the gearbox is a lot different to the Insignia, so lower end ratios are still a bit weird to get used to. However, otherwise it's a good little running car. It's also very warm in here today because of that panoramic roof. Now I've also, before we start, I've got my GoPro working again. I've lost that slot there, but I've managed to get it charged. I haven't used this thing for maybe 2 years, there or thereabouts probably, I can't remember. But yeah, we're going to use this and we're going to see how well we're getting along. So if I switch the engine on, well, apart from the stutter in there, we can see the car is currently on 45,605 miles. And that, if we look in the screen, we've got 335 miles of range, which to the gauge is 3/4 of a tank pretty much. Over since I've been paid, I've done 1,161 miles and we're currently doing 42.1 to the gallon. And since I filled up, we're doing 40.3, but I've been doing a lot of slower and weirder journeys in order to achieve that. So we're going to reset that one, which I have, and we're going to go on to our drive and see how this goes. Right then, engine on. Didn't want to start very happily there, but it did. I suspect the aircon has a lot to do with it because that's always permanently on. So that's going to stay off for this journey. The cooled seats are also going to stay off and the fan is going to go on to number 2. The radio is off. The window is open. I'm quite chill in this car. We've got all the cameras running as they should be. So let's go then. I must admit, I do like the way that this car drives. I am just a bit disappointed that on a 20 plate car with not even 50k on it yet, it's got issues with it starting, and that is down to, I believe firmly, it's to do with the fact it's had the belt changed. Something isn't happy about it, and if you haven't watched the other video, I urge you to do so, where I explain it a little bit more into what I think the problem is. I will obviously update you when the car goes in, which is on the 5th of August up to now. But otherwise, once the car's started, it drives fine, and we're going to have a look and see how it's doing on the performance with its fuel. So we're currently leaving Sainsbury's now. We're going to immediately join onto the bypass. The rules are to do the speed limit or less. Now usually I tend to do 65 miles an hour when it comes to the fuel economy test on the bypass, because that's the best for it. The brakes are really good, they're strong. What's going to kill me is the constant gear changes that I have to do to drive it smoothly. But I think we'll be okay. Oh, and that's also going off if I don't get caught up with a driver who's not paying attention, like I did in the video in the Insignia, where I had to take a slight detour. Great. Just had some nut decide to not move on a green light, and now I'm going the wrong way. Turns out, guys, that nut is taking us a different way. I think it'd be quite interesting to see how well this car does. I already think it's doing pretty well considering its size and the lack of size for the engine. So it'll be interesting to see how we get along, because I think it's not doing too badly considering it's petrol. I don't think it's far off what the diesel would give me. Right then, we're joining the bypass. We are going to put the cruise control on ready, and we're going to join it in front of a Qashqai here. If it hurries up a bit. Doing 40 mile an hour at the minute. The car's saying that we're too close to the vehicle in front because they are doing very, very gradual speed. But it's a speed limit. As long as you don't go above it, you'll be alright. Now, I usually put on average about 50 quid of petrol in this. Usually. We're going to lock it in 45 miles an hour here. I usually put 50 quid of petrol into this car, and that lasts me about a week, which is good, if I'm honest. Just want to get into that other lane, please, because this car in front is... that Qashqai I was on about there, there's nothing in front of it. Yeah, he's doing way below the speed limit to the point that the lorries are not happy about it either. So I'm getting into the other lane. We're locking it into 50. We're going to get out of 50 in a second into national speed limit. So let's see how we do. Speed camera's not going to get me out today. 65 miles an hour. I'm cruising. Bit where usually there's people impeding our traffic, like last time, and it's definitely a lot busier today than it was then. But I think we're going to join the bypass correctly this time. there we go. We're joining it as normal. Perfect. Let's just get on here and do the speed limit again. I'm going to stick to my guns and stay behind this traffic, because although slow, generally speaking, should be doing a better fuel economy. So I'm going to cruise control it in 50. The bypass, we're off the A55 now, and we're pretty much at Broughton. Here we are, Broughton. All we need to do now is find a parking space to stop at for a moment, just to see how well we're doing. And I think here will do nicely. Right, so far, let's have a look here. So if I turn this, we've done, okay, so that's a normal. Okay, so we're doing 65.6 to the gallon. Average speed is 39 miles an hour, and that was in 12 miles. So in 12 miles we've done 65.6. When I was here, when I had the Insignia and I did exactly the same thing, it was 71 to the gallon, if I remember rightly. But then it dropped a lot further down, going down the back ways home, which I know that this car probably does better down the back ways than the Insignia did. So it's going to be interesting to see how that changes with driving back, but a different way. So let's do it then, eh? Let's not be about the bush, because that's changing every second. It's already gone down to 64.1. So let's continue with our trip. That's not a bad figure, really, considering this is a petrol but heavier car. So let's bring that back to the speedo so we don't give it away. And within 12 miles, that's not bad at all. Go the back way now, so we know it's good on fuel on the bypass, even though I must admit it wasn't a smooth run in comparison to when it was in the Insignia. It's a lot busier out today, so I reckon if I kept to the constant speed, could have probably got more out of it. But considering that's everyday sort of use, it's a good figure for you guys if you're interested in one of these to find out what it's like. So let's continue with the back rate and see how it does there. And there's a lot of traffic down this way because they've got roadworks or something going on down here. So we're going to take that into consideration as well whilst the engine's on tick over. Obviously stop start is switched off because of my issues at the minute. That'd be quite embarrassing, having stop start and then find out it doesn't start again. But this shouldn't take too long from experience. Like I mentioned in my last video, this car does not have cruise control at 20 miles an hour. No, unlike the Insignia, this can only go in cruise control at 25 miles an hour. Capri, I've seen loads of them at a recent car show that I took my little boy to, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. Good old classic cars. But as I was saying, 25 miles an hour is the minimum this car will do in cruise control. It's just pathetic. But the DS4 is exactly the same. In fact, so was the DS3 I mentioned in my last video. That could only do 25 as well. Wasn't great. It's a 40 mile an hour zone and this car's doing 30. Come on. Creep it up just a little. We're in national speed zone now. You know, it's quite awkward with Toyotas. The Toyota Yaris in front is a GR. Now, usually old people drive Toyotas, which would make that one no exception because it's slow. However, it's a GR model. That's like an old man driving a Honda EP3 Type R. You can't always judge it. They're either driven by obbos with caps and shades and shorts that are a completely different colour to the rest of the attire, or they're old men in beige cloth. You can never judge it. Okay, we're entering Hope now. We're approximately 5 miles away from our starting destination. Except this is a lot of back roads now we're driving on where there's more traffic lights to endure. And more traffic in general, to be honest. And it's a 20 zone as well. Sorry, 25 in this car. Because that's all it'll do. Sorry, officer. I know I was speeding, but my car's minimum is 25 miles an hour. Don't think that'll go down well. It's a weird day today. It's sunny in some places, like here, but further across, or even where we started, it was all nice, warm, but cloudy. And I've forgotten my sunglasses. I think I'm going to turn on my cool seats. My back is starting to sweat a bit with these black leather seats, and it is quite nice to have a bit of comfort on a test such as this. And if you're wondering why I'm leaning forward, it's because I can feel the fan on my back, and it is really nice. Windows going up because they're doing roadworks down here, which is ever so fun. Sat right next to a Peugeot 3008 GT line. Funny enough, actually, I spoke to somebody recently about one of them, and he said he had a Grandland and he missed it. He only got rid of it because he had an accident in it and went for something very similar, which of course the 3008 is. But he said he preferred the Grandland, there's more space in it. Which, looking at a few, because Sarah's interested in one, I can agree. And we're off. Third gear, 25, and cruise control. Lovely. I have no idea what this car's going to be like with cruise control in 25 miles an hour conditions, because the Insignia, well, it coped with it alright, to be fair. It did pretty well, that car. Still bittersweet about it. Hang going to get loads of comments later saying, who in the right mind does 25 mile an hour? Well, at least I'm doing 5 mile an hour over the speed limit, I suppose. Sorry, I am doing the speed limit. Okay, we're back in sunny Wrexham now. Just need to get to Sainsbury's. The needle hasn't moved that much considering. But just need to gently get there without using a lot of fuel. Really interested to know what this car can do. But I think I'm gonna be impressed. I mean, I already am impressed considering I'm not really feeling like I'm using a lot more money to run a petrol in comparison to the diesel that I had. We're literally less than a mile away now. We're on the same roundabout that we joined the bypass to get to Chester on. We're going to find out what our overall score is with being urban and extra urban, and see what the overall figure would be. Let's see how close we got. I'm hoping it's mid-50s, like 55 and above I'd be happy with. Is that parking spot still free? Yes it is. I love the depth mirrors. Still got parking sensors though. That'll do. Okay, windows down, engine off. What did we do? Let's see how we did. So, let's scroll. So we've still got 360 miles of range left, and we're still on 42.1, which is average, again considering the mileage I've done and how I've driven it, should we say. But let's flick over to the next one. Let's see what our overall score was. 54.2. 54.2. I did say mid 55s. Anything lower I'd be a bit concerned with. That isn't bad actually. I'll give this car its due. That to me is not terrible at all. So I'll need to have a look back onto what the Insignia achieved at the time. I'm sure it was 71 to the gallon and it went down to 62. I'm trying to remember. But considering this is a petrol, that's not too bad at all. Considering we've been sat at traffic, we've been dealing with slower drivers, it's been a lot busier out than my previous test, but on the same journey, that's not bad at all, really. I'm quite impressed with that. So that is it for this video. That is the bombshell, is you know, the Grandland 1.2, although a small engine in a big car, and a heavy car at that, especially with these seats, that was its achievement. And like I say, I put £50 in this a week, and I'm doing at least, what, 400, maybe 500 miles a week in some cases, you know, with the way I'm driving and going out places. Sometimes it lasts a lot longer than that. I mean, hey, let's work this out. I've had the car for 2 months. It was on 42,000 when I got it. It's now on 45. So work that out amongst yourselves. In fact, accurately 45,629 miles. And I'm sure it was 42,600 and something when I got it. So effectively 3,000 miles. Yeah, 3,000 miles, roughly about. So I've done 3,000 miles on this in the space of 2 months. That's 1,500 miles a month. And I'm spending no more fuel than what I would have done for the Insignia. I would spend roughly 250 quid on fuel, maybe slightly less in the Insignia. I could probably get away with £200 a month fuel in that car. This, with the same budget, I am using £250 worth of fuel, and I am using most of that, to be honest. Although that being said, what are we on today? We're on the 22nd of July. Yeah, I think 22nd of July. We've done 1,185 miles in this month. I've put 40 quid in this yesterday, which took it to 3/4 of a tank, just a bit over. I mean, I've done 81.4 miles since I filled up, so yeah, and we're still on, we're not even near half a tank yet. And I put 40 quid in, and I've got another 40 quid left to use, but realistically I should have enough there till the end of the month at this rate, so it's not bad going, to be honest. So 200 and a little bit less of fuel, and this is a petrol, and with my driving it's not too bad. Bearing in mind as well, we're using the aircon as well, because it is bloody warm. I haven't used the aircon on in this test, so that's something. So with that being said, I think we're doing pretty well, guys. In fact, I feel like this car's done really, really well. 54.2 miles to the gallon. Well, anyways, guys, that ends it for this video. If you guys like this video and you want to see more, do you actually want to see a economical test run on the DS4? If you would like to see that video, why not leave a like and subscribe? Bikes, they do my head with the noise on them things. Am I turning old? No, more than likely. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you want to see the DS4's economic eco test on the same run as we've just done the Grandland. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and stay safe.